Hello and welcome back to Miles and Mentors. Today we have an excellent guest on. We have Beck from Beck's Logistics. I'm sorry, and we're going to be talking all about his experience and path through the logistics industry, moving into the U.S. and opening up not only a owner operator situation, but moving into a fleet grown situation. So lots that we're going to hope to learn, tap into that lived and learned experience. So stick with us. We have a great episode lined up for you right after this on Miles and Mentors.
Welcome to Miles and Mentors, the podcast that humanizes trucking, getting real-life advice and insights from logistics professionals from all over the industry. We sit down with those seasoned mentors who have put in the miles with a mission to pass on the knowledge gained from years in the industry to you. Now buckle up and enjoy the show.
Hey, Beck, what's going on? Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Well, for those that may not know who you are, be familiar with kind of your story in the industry, if you wouldn't mind telling us just who you are and what is your role in the industry today. And for those listening, just for a heads up here, we have a translator joining us as well today. So you'll hear some different voices going on, but it's going to be an amazing conversation. So if we could start out with who you are and what's your role in the industry today.
Расскажите, кто вы и какая ваша роль в этой индустрии?
Меня зовут Бек Шамсиев. Я владелец компании Bek Logistics. Я родом из Узбекистана. Узбекистан – это аграрная страна. И видя, что наши соотечественники выращивают разного вида плодовочную продукцию, сельхозпродукцию, и в то время я занялся, меня это заинтересовало, специально отучился в аграрном университете и начал бизнес свой там. И наши продукты ели в Европе, в России, в других странах, Казахстан, ближнее зарубежье наше. И волею судьбы я это продолжаю на земле Америки.
Hi, my name is Hayriddin Shamsiev. I go by Bek. I'm originally from Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is historically an agricultural country. We would make produce, fruits and vegetable, and they're historically very tasty. So we would export them to nearby countries like Kazakhstan, Russia, Ukraine, and all of the Europe. And I saw a demand in this, and I established my trucking company over a decade ago. And now I do similar logistics trucking establishment here in the U.S. as well.
That's fantastic. So you actually got started in trucking over there and then also came over here and got started as well on this side.
Да.
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's going to be interesting to kind of learn about the differences of the industry in that country versus this one. So I'm really excited to dive in. With that in mind of what got you into the industry, what would you say, like, what do you like about logistics and trucking that has kept you in the industry for so long?
Что вам нравится в логистике транспортации, что вы остались в этой индустрии много лет?
Во-первых, сама работа романтичная. Во-вторых, это же приносить пользу людям, доставлять товар первой необходимости, продукты вовремя и в срок. И это для меня заманчиво.
He says it's a romantic style industry where you are on the road and have time to think and stuff. But the most important thing, it benefits the people, where we deliver the items of the need for people to supply with fruits, vegetables, dry goods and things. And we make sure that they have everything that they need. Like we supply them with the items.
I love that. Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. Now, we were reading through some of the other interviews and stuff you did, and we read here that you immigrated to the U.S. in your 50s and start up Bek Logistics from scratch. What gave you the confidence to not only move to the country but start up a brand new company within the U.S.?
Мы прочитали про вас в газетах, и вы написали, что вы эмигрировали в Америку в своих 50 лет и начали здесь бизнес. Что вам дало уверенность в себе, что вы сможете это сделать здесь?
Америка свободная страна, и многие вещи, которые трудно реализовать в других местах, в Америке это очень элементарно. Она поддерживает предпринимателей, работай честно, зарабатывай, приноси пользу людям. Я от этого восхищен. И всё.
In my opinion, America is a country of opportunities and freedom, and especially support for entrepreneurs. And I was inspired by that. That here, hard work, determination, and grit will reap the benefits no matter the age.
I love that. What would you say is, some similarities or biggest differences even between trucking in Uzbekistan versus the United States?
Какие схождения и разница сделать бизнес в тракинге в Узбекистане и в Америке?
Узбекистан, он не выходит, он в середине евроазийского континента, и он не входит, как сказать, не портовый, страна, не портовая страна. Чтобы довести груз, надо проехать до одной точки, минуя 3-4 страны. Вот это вот таможенные, вот эти вот процедуры, они очень затягиваются. Вот это меня мучает. Вот, например, если надо проехать в Европу, надо через Казахстан проехать, потом через Россию, потом страны европейские и доехать. Вот эта логистика, она очень тяжелая там в плане того, что там сделать бизнес. Моя проблема в этом только.
Uzbekistan is one of the two landlocked countries in the world, so you need to bypass at least like one country to get to the ocean ports, and that's like one of it creates the challenges. So for me, let's say to deliver to Europe or like other countries, I need to pass at least two countries like Kazakhstan, Russia, or other European countries, which creates a problem of the customs. And some delays in the transportation here in the United States because states are interconnected. I did not have that problem.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot to consider, taking in with the international affairs there and all the different borders. That almost feels like it put you in a better situation of really having to deal with so much more back in that country versus this one here. With that in mind, have you run into difficulties in the trucking industry in the United States? And if so, what have those been?
А здесь какие трудности были? Вы можете про суд рассказать, то, что у вас в суд попали, компания другая была, если хотите, или другие, какие трудности были?
Здесь, в Америке?
Да.
Ну, так таковых больших проблем не было у меня. Тут соблюдай закон, работай, и никаких проблем. Вот это я знаю точно и на себя это испытываю.
He said like I didn't have like big obstacles so far. Like work hard, follow the rules, you'll be good. And also from me, like I wanted to add, there was like one mishap recently where different county in the same state sued him, thinking that his company's driver was like cause of the accident, where that driver was not even listed in our company. Apparently, we just had like same names with a different company on a different state. So there was like lots of paperwork, research, time to respond for those. That was like the biggest experience here. It's like more like be engaged in the court, like unnecessarily. But other than that, like no other obstacles.
That's fantastic here, and I'm sorry to hear about that situation there, but that really goes into highlight what drivers, especially running a company, has to deal with, being behind the wheel, but also managing the entire company and all that comes with. With Bek Logistics, are you guys a single truck operation, or how many trucks do you guys have operating under Bek Logistics?
У Bek Logistics сколько траков сейчас? И вы сами тоже водите или нет?
Сейчас в данный момент своих траков 3. Кроме этого, есть owner-операторы. И сам я тоже вожу, я трак-драйвер.
Currently, I have 3 active drivers, 3 trucks, and I also help as well. Like I'm truck driver as well. Like I like to stay on the road.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, with that in mind, coming to the United States and not only, starting up the trunking company, but growing it to the point you are now with 3 trucks and multiple drivers, a big part of our audience are guys that are currently company drivers for large businesses and looking to become owner operators and grow the fleets. What advice can you give them for not only starting their own business, but growing those fleets to adding on multiple trucks like you have?
Многие наши слушатели сейчас работают на большие компании, как company driver. Какие рекомендации вы могли бы им дать, если бы они хотели бы создать свою компанию?
Рекомендации так таковой. Быть честным, не нарушать законы, соблюдать все правила, быть внимательным на дороге. Очень. В последнее время много инцидентов происходит, даже в Ютубе, везде видно. Это ответственная работа. Следить за машиной, за технической исправностью ее. Каждый день надо вот перед отъездом, перед стартом полностью посмотреть ее, все ли агрегаты функционируют нормально или нет, проверить и быть очень внимательным и вовремя доставлять грузы, как положено.
I would say to be attentive to details, not only like on the truck, but the paperwork as well, especially like on the roads with more and more checkpoints and verifications. The attention to details, like of all the paperwork, the insurance will be very, very important to
Well,
maintain the business and run the business and not to get out of, compliance.
Right. 100%. That's hard to do. And, that's one place that I, have to put my hat off to owner operators and small fleet owners, because it's like no other business really in the world, because, every other business has, office, a staff working from a desk, but in trucking, especially in your situation, Beck, you're still out there. You enjoy driving the truck. So a lot of times that puts us behind the wheel and then also having to manage the business. And that's a ton to take on. So hat off to you. Really, really appreciate all you do out there.
thank you.
So with that in mind, growing that operation, have you dealt with, any financial issues coming up in the sense that, when you run a load, you're waiting 30, 60, 90 days. Have you guys utilized factoring services or any other, financial aspects in that avenue to help you guys keep afloat? Or what would be your advice there to grow or to finance a business as it grows?
Оплата, когда вы перевозите груз, иногда они платят 360-90 дней. Как вы держались на плаву, как вы вели бизнес?
Ну, у меня есть на счету свою, на аккаунтинге свои резервные средства специально. Я знаю эти вещи, потому что не все происходит, как мы хотим. Поэтому я страхуюсь и держу, например, свои средства, чтобы оплатить драйверам, owner-операторам, чтобы у них не было никаких проблем с оплатой. И факторинг компании пользуюсь услугами больше.
Amazon Real.
Amazon Relay.
Since I had money from my previous business in Uzbekistan, I was able to have that safety cushion to make sure that the drivers get paid before my company gets paid, because some people, which is very normal as well, like people live paycheck to paycheck and they need a stable income. So having that safety net helped me to bridge that gap. But I did utilize factoring as well where needed with some of the with some of the load boards, but I also utilized Amazon Relay, which pays like every next week. That helped as well.
That's fantastic. Has there been any other kind of like service providers or services out there that you have found greatly useful, like fuel cards, tire discounts, stuff of that nature, that you think somebody looking to start their own business as either an owner operator or grow that fleet that would be worthwhile or strategic for them to look into getting involved with?
Какие сервисы или продукты, которые вы использовали для вашего бизнеса, вы можете рекомендовать другим? Может быть, какие-то карточки для дизеля или какие-то другие услуги?
Ну, таких компаний много, которые предлагают свои услуги на рынке. Это, как говорится, надо испытать, пользуюсь только. И какие сервисы? Ну, в основном по дизелю, что они дают карты свои, И заправляйтесь, пользуясь ихними кредитными картами. Основной сервис вот этот. Больше я никаких. Основные вещи сами делаем.
You rightly mentioned that those fleet cards help out with the discounts, and I think it's like up to the carrier to find out like which one is better for them in terms of the network, like how much percent, like how much sense it gives the discount. But I did use as well. I think mine was called like Cube Card or something like that.
Okay. Fantastic. So, kind of comparing and contrasting you running your trucking business in Uzbekistan versus the United States. We talked about dealing with the borders and everything else. When you first got started over there, I guess I'm asking kind of how does it work versus the United States? As we were talking over here, you run a load, you wait that 30, 60, 90 days to get paid. How is it in business of logistics over there? Do you run into the same thing where you have to wait a while to get paid, or do they pay kind of right away, or how does that work?
В Узбекистане как оплачивают работу, когда вы в Узбекистане или в страны, которые вы привозили груз, они вам тоже оплачивают, как в Америке, 360 дней, или они вам сразу же деньги дают?
Нет, там специфика чуть-чуть другая, потому что они делают предоплату, и когда довезете груз, остальную часть, если ценности и сохранности привезете к клиенту, остальную часть сразу оплачивают.
There is a little bit different framework. They prepay you the certain percentage, and then once you deliver the load based on the quality and then that you met the timing, they will pay you the rest.
Oh, that's really interesting to hear. In your opinion, having dealt with kind of both systems, which one would you prefer?
По вашему мнению, какая система вам лучше нравится, которая когда предоплата с процентом или постоплата 36 дней нужно ждать?
Ну, разницы нет, я и так работал, привык, но в каждой стране свои правила. Ну, здесь так заведено, мы привыкаем, и как-то нам это схоже уже сейчас. Тут.
Every country has its rules, so I don't have a much preference, so I try to adjust based on the situations and conditions.
Right. You got to roll with the punches, right? Now, reading about your company and everything, we see that you really guys have emphasized utilizing technology within Bek Logistics. What tools and innovations would you say that you guys have really had the biggest difference made to your company, being a small carrier, being a small fleet? What tools or technologies really made the biggest impact for you?
Так как вы маленький бизнес, и мы посмотрели, что вы занимаетесь технологией приложения Trackers Help.
Yes.
Что вам помогает быть технологической компанией?
Ну, во-первых, мир не стоит на месте, идет вперед. И хотим мы этого или нет, надо развивать технологию. И много плюсов от этого, например, используя эти все приложения, даже элементарно. Раньше вот, например, как говорили, по картам ездили, а сейчас ставите на логбук, и он вам показывает, куда ехать, приехать. Это развитие технологий, это все дела как-то продвигается быстрее, и это очень приятно, и я тоже хочу лепту свою принять в этом деле.
The world never stops. There's always changes, and I may be dating myself. I'm sorry. Sorry for that. And maybe I'm dating myself, but way in the back, we didn't have a GPS. It was maps. We would navigate through maps to find our locations, and now we have easy apps to find the location, the speed, and etc. So it's awesome that technology is being developed, and I'm also searching for ways to contribute to the technological advances of trucking.
I love that, definitely. And, especially with managing, you said 3 trucks now, growing that fleet. What have you found to be useful as far as, that technology to manage and help, run your fleet?
Какая технология помогает вам оставаться и развивать ваш бизнес. Вы можете про свое приложение тоже рассказать о том, что про здоровье тракистов.
Ну, много предложений. Ну, вот, например, при езде очень, например, вот там положено 11 часов ездить трак-драйверу, из них какую-то часть отдыхать. Я сейчас не буду детали это делать, но за это время все равно человек сидит на одном месте, и основном на здоровье надо поддерживать. Надо, когда остановился, пройтись, чуть-чуть размять свои мышцы, руки, ноги, чтобы быть в тонусе. И здоровье – это в первую очередь, особенно для тракистов, потому что это внимание, это глаза, это чуткость, это реакция, это немаловажные вещи. Это немаловажные вещи.
Thank you. That's a great question. You're right. Like there is a variety of apps and dashboards available to manage the fleet, and that when we even book the loads, usually it's through like for as example like Amazon Relay, it's already like provided in terms of check-in, check-out, automatic stuff. I would also like give a shout out to my own app that I'm currently working on called Truckers Health, because we are driving long hours, and we need time to stretch, we need time to rest, and especially like with all those rules to get rest, right? Like to get a good sleep, to make sure that we are in health, to make sure that our heart rates, like our weight, and is managed, and also find time to do some stretches. So that's the problem that I've seen in the industry as a whole, not like country specific. And I'm developing an app to improve the drivers, like to have a healthier, long, pain-free life.
That's fantastic to hear. And I mean, 100% health has been a huge concern. When you're sitting behind the wheel all day, it doesn't do a lot for health. So that's fantastic to hear that you're utilizing not only technology, but focusing on that health aspect there. What are some of the biggest health concerns that you've seen in the industry that really drove that to be so important to you to want to go out and develop this app?
Какие основные проблемы в здоровье вы увидели, что вы захотели заняться таким приложением?
Вовремя надо отдыхать, потому что организм берет свое, мозг должен отдыхать, глаза должны отдыхать. Я советую многим трак-драйверам соблюдать вот это все вот эти параметры, как говорится, останавливаться через 3-4 часа, дать отдохнуть, при возможности дать отдохнуть глазам, пообедать, как-то вот всегда держать себя в тонусе, да, понимаете? В 2 словах это не объяснить, это целый процесс. И я только за здоровье.
Thank you for this question. So since we, on the road for a long time, eye strain, sedentary life, back, neck pain, all of that I have observed. And so through the app, I was thinking to either, help to mitigate that, to manage the pain is like through stretching, through like small exercises to our body parts. And also like as a rewards-based system, we would, ship out like goodies, like let's say pain creams, topical pain creams for them to apply, at least, to get to their destination and see the chiropractor or massage therapist and etc. But we definitely like searching for feedback, right? Because it may be just my or my team's experience. Would love to get feedback from other, like your listeners, to see like, are they experiencing similar situations? Would they find such solutions helpful? And also like feature suggestions as well.
100%. That's really exciting. I'm wishing the best for you in that. We'll make sure to get the links and everything for that app in the comments for this episode as well, and definitely encourage feedback from the listeners there. Really excited. I'll want to keep up with you guys as that progresses. Maybe we can have you back on in the future as well to talk more in depth on that app and kind of the progression there.
Thank you.
So, one thing that we really like to focus on within this podcast is kind of mentorship and, I guess that learning aspect within the industry. Now, you've had the opportunity to start trucking back in Uzbekistan and now get it start up and growing a fleet in the United States. Has there been anyone in your path over there, over here, et cetera, that you have considered a mentor in your way that's kind of helped you get where you're at today within the industry?
В вашем опыте был кто, ваш наставник здесь или в Узбекистане, который бы вы могли бы консультироваться, спрашивать, задавать вопросы и так далее?
Ну, конечно, таких людей много в моей судьбе, потому что все знать невозможно. Есть такие вещи, нюансы, которые надо пользоваться услугами более опытных людей. Я себя тоже не могу считать супер опытным, но я тоже как-то развиваюсь, и сказать, что я профессионал высшего уровня, это переоценить себя, потому что это развивающая структура, и надо всегда развиваться и не останавливаться на месте, и развивать себя и интеллектуально, и физически, и во всех параметрах.
You rightly know that yes, mentorship is super important, and yes, I over my life experience, I did have a couple of mentors from Uzbekistan and here in the United States as well, because it's so important to build those relationships, cultivate relationships. If I'm not mistaken, there is also big community of Uzbek truckers in the United States as well. Like there's group chats. To ask questions and stuff. So if people know that there is groups like WhatsApp, Telegram groups, I encourage them to join any membership organization that you're interested in, such as OIDA, and building their network.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely huge and vital. And to have that community you're talking about, especially that localized community, if they're, Uzbekistan directly related, that just makes it so much more relatable and beneficial. So 100% agree. And I think that's fantastic to guide people in the direction of that community. To find a community like that is absolutely huge. Now, in your sense, you're coming on, you've done other interviews, at least you've come on this podcast and you're being able to offer what you've learned along the way to others. How important do you think that is, that stuff that you've learned throughout your career, to pass that along to the next generation?
Для вас важно ли, вот столько вещей вы научились, и вы даете интервью, приходите на такие подкасты, для вас важно ли учить новое поколение своим знаниям?
Обязательно, обязательно. Потому что вся мировая экономика зависит от логистики. Я так думаю. И каждая страна, каждая фирма должны производить товар и продавать, а между ними стоит логисты, которые доставляют этот товар. Независимо каким транспортом, самолетом, поездом, автомобильной перевозкой, но без этого никак. Поэтому поколение надо учить, кто этим заинтересован, и как-то улучшать сферу нашего дела.
Absolutely, especially logistics, transportation in general, regardless it's a ground freight, air mode, or ship mode, they're all crucial. The companies, they produce and sell, users, consumers, they buy it, right? And we are kind of in the middle. We transport those goods to them. So absolutely, sharing the knowledge, encouraging the new generations to get interested in such industry is important, and also improving this industry further.
Yeah. With that in mind, when you get started out, there's probably stuff that you wish you knew back then that now that you've learned kind of the hard way throughout the years. For somebody that's been, a company driver and is looking to open up their own company, grow that fleet like you have, what's some immediate advice you can tell them from something you've learned along the way?
Какой совет вы можете дать начинающим в этой индустрии, которые хочет сами открыть, сами на себя работать?
Надо, во-первых, набраться опыта очень, особенно когда ты новичок в этом деле, не надо торопиться. Это чревато. Надо набираться опыта, потихоньку работать компани-драйвером, тим-драйвером. И потихонечку с годами приходит опыт. И человек, когда он поставить себе цель сделать компанию себе, он должен быть валировать всеми аспектами. Я так думаю, опыт – это большое дело.
In my opinion, first of all, like I applaud those people who want to be business owners. I also encourage them to get the experience. As a company driver, you will get the experience. You will understand the in and out of how the business works, how it's transported. So you will minimize the risk once you start your own business because you will understand the industry from the within. And don't rush the process. Take it step by step.
100%. That's fantastic advice. I love the part about don't rush the process because I think so many do get in and just try to go from 0 to 100 way too fast. And if you don't have that firm foundation built up, it's really easy to get down the wrong path or stumble. And in this industry, trucking can make a lot of money, but it can cost a lot of money too. So if you make the wrong mistake too quickly, that can really crumble your business moving forward. So we have covered a ton today, and I really, really appreciate you coming on and lending us some of your time out of your busy schedule to let us tap into your brain. With that being said, do you feel like we've missed anything today worth throwing in?
Спасибо за ваше время, что вы пришли. По вашему мнению, мы что-нибудь забыли? Вы бы хотели что-нибудь еще добавить и сказать?
Абсолютно все. Perfect.
Perfect.
It was amazing. Thank you so much for the experience.
No, thank you so much. And if you're up for it, I'd love to have you both back on the show in the future, and we can learn more from you and learn more about your app as it progresses as well.
Thank you.
All right. Well, everyone out there, thank you so much for joining in today. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out Bek Logistics. Learn more about his fantastic story and his app as well. There's tons and tons to take away there. So thanks so much. And until next time, stay safe out there. Have a great day.